The government's candidate for the Turkish presidency calls it quits as opposition parties boycott another parliamentary vote. All sides, including the military, are weighing up their options. So what's the next move to break the deadlock? This is Inside Story. Hello, I'm Darren Jordan. It's a battle that goes to the heart of Turkish identity. Should a person with Islamist connections be the head of state of such a staunchly secular country? On Sunday, the opposition reiterated its position. It said no, boycotting a parliamentary vote on the matter, effectively ending the debate for now. Nicole Johnston has more.
This is the man caught in the middle of a zealous debate about Turkey's national identity. Foreign Minister Abdullah Gül from the governing Justice and Development, or AK Party, a party with Islamist roots. The opposition has been boycotting his candidacy for presidency from the start, a campaign the Prime Minister says is undemocratic.
The
way to elect the president in Parliament has been blocked. It has made it almost impossible to elect a president in future parliaments. Do you know what this is now? This is a bullet fired at democracy.
However, there have been widespread protests against the government putting up a presidential candidate from their party. Perhaps this appears to be a lot of fuss over a largely ceremonial job. But the president is considered the guardian of the constitution. He has the power to veto laws. And symbolically, he carries on the legacy of modern Turkey's founder, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. And it's that legacy, the strict separation of religion and state, that has inflamed fervent Turkish nationalism. From Istanbul to Ankara, more than 1 million people have demonstrated against Gül's nomination. The fear that if the Justice and Development Party controls both the government and presidency, it will allow Islamic law to creep into the state. An accusation the AK Party rejects. But those who doubt its commitment point to its roots. It emerged from the remnants of another party, broken up for allegedly threatening secularism. The military had a hand in that and warns it will continue to defend Turkey's civil institutions. For now, the question over the presidency is on hold as all parties in this affair consider their next move.
Well, let's join our guest now, Dr. Hasan Koné of the Department for International Relations at Istanbul University, and Mr. Egemen Bağış from the ruling AK party. He joins us from Ankara. Dr. Hasan Koné in Istanbul, let me start with you, if I may. This is the second time Turkey's parliament has failed to agree on the government's candidate for president. What's your reaction to this stalemate?
I mean, the resolution for coming elections will solve the problems, I believe. As usual, the military was against the Islamic view of any party in the Turkish presidency. But the coming elections, I think, will resolve this coming election problem.
So why do you think Abdullah Gül pulled out then?
I mean, they will continue to resist, otherwise he will be humiliated, and then he will lose this election, and then this will solve the problem. But they cannot resign immediately. This will really humiliate the AKP party. So it will lose during this election, and then we'll see what's going to happen in the next one.
Okay, Egemen Bağış there in Ankara, let's get the view from there. Why do you think opposition parties are objecting to the nomination of Abdullah Gül? What do you think's behind this?
Well, they are just trying to use the opportunity to create political chaos in the country. The chairman of the main opposition party has even called for violence in the country. The opposition in Turkey cannot come up with solutions to Turkey's problems, cannot even present ideas to counter the government's proposals to solve Turkey's problems. The government has been very successful. People of Turkey know that the inflation rate has come down, the interest rates have come down, the per capita income has almost tripled in the last 4.5 years. We have started the European Union negotiations of our country, which was a dream that has been waiting, that the Turkish nation had been waiting for the last 42 years. Turkey's role in the region is much more clear, and Turkey is playing the role of the intermediator. I mean, both in the Middle East peace process and also regarding Iraq, Turkey is playing an important role. The opposition parties do not have any proposals to counter the achievements and ideas of the government. Instead, they are hiding behind some legal limbo and trying to scare the people, create tension in the country.
Okay, but we've seen the pictures, though. We've seen the pictures on our television screens of over 1 million demonstrators coming out. Why do you think Abdullah Gül then pulled out?
That was not 1 million. I mean, whoever claims it was 1 million just doesn't know how to count. You go to a stadium of 50,000 people, you think the whole world is there. I mean, those demonstrations, according to the police numbers, were not any more than 200,000. But even that is something, and I respect that. The demonstrators were enjoying their freedom to demonstrate because of the reform laws passed by our government, by our party. So we're very proud that the democratic reaction of the people can be portrayed, and that's in a way our achievement. We take pride in that.
Okay, let's go back to
if you count those who did not go to protest, who did not go to those demonstrations, those are millions. I mean, in the last election around, 18.5 million people voted for AK Party.
Okay, let's just go back to Dr. Hasan Koni in Istanbul and talk about some of the fears and concerns by secularist Turkey. People are talking about an Islamic resurgence in Turkey, Dr. Hasan Koni. What do you think has brought that on?
Okay, since the 18th century, when Turkey started to modernize, this dichotomy within the people exists. The elite was modernized, but not the people. The richness and the economic modernization went to the elite, but the low level didn't show up, and they didn't really modernize. The AKP is representing the people, and people carry the Islamic traditions. And sometimes, although this party is trying to join to the European Union, some of its old passé is reflected within the government. For example, the law on the adultery, prohibiting the use of alcohol, and some movements disturbed the military and some elites within Turkey, and the elite is really modernized. But this dichotomy within the country is still going on, and all the time the military, as a guardian of the modernization and the secularism, interfere. This time it's quite gently, may I say.
Egemen Bağış, there in Ankara. So what's the next step? I think you mentioned the elections earlier on. Do you think these elections will happen on the 22nd of July?
Well, the parliament has decided to have the next elections on the 22nd of July, and we are going to the nation. We want to renew our mandate to govern Turkey. The people of Turkey have elected us. Professor Koni was very correct when he said AK Party represents the people of Turkey. He is correct. In the last elections around, we had 42% of Turkey voting for us. The previous election, we had 34% of Turkey voting for us. Traditionally in Turkish politics, parties lose the percentages when they're in government. But AK Party has been quite different. It's a different phenomena. We are increasing our votes as we serve. People are happy. People know that the people who are governing them are just like themselves. People who have sensitivities like the sensitivities that they share. And AK Party has done what other parties have always promised but never could do.
But isn't there a bigger question, though? Isn't there a bigger question about what type of country and what kind of democracy Turkey wants?
Well, people of Turkey will go to the ballot box and decide for themselves on July 22. But if those who want to vote for AK Party know that their party is for free market economy, it's a very pro-business party, it's for European Union membership, it's for enhanced individual rights and freedoms, it's for freedom of conscience, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of expression. And AK Party is a conservative Democrat party. I don't agree with your classification of having Islamic connections. Neither the leaders of the party nor any member can put their religious ideas into the politics of the party. The government and the party are both secular. AK Party is at least as secular as all the other parties of Turkey. No one should doubt that.
All right.
But as individuals, some people are devout believers, some people are less devout believers, some people practice the requirements of the religion fully, some people do it less than that, some people just don't do it at all.
Okay,
and
all right. Okay.
An issue.
All right, well, gentlemen, stay with us, won't you? Because it's time for a short break now. But when we come back, we're going to take a closer look at why Turkey's secular elite are so fearful of the ruling party and the men who lead it. Stay with us.